Hello, my friends. Good morning to everyone. I'm out on my back porch. I have my Meals on Wheels, as I call it, that I've turned into a worm bin, which is an open worm bin. There's no lid on this, and I have yet to ever find a worm that has tried to crawl out, and yet I seem to have plenty in there. So a week ago, actually it was the 7th of March, last Monday, and this is Tuesday the 15th, so it's been 8 days. I gave the worms a worm smoothie. If you recall, I told you that I made a smoothie in my NutriBullet, and it was strawberry tops. There were a couple of strawberries in it that looked too mushy, and banana peels, and a little bit of rainwater, and that was all uh, pulverized into a kind of a slurry, or a smoothie. A slurry if you're a worm, smoothie if you're an unsuspecting husband who thinks that you're making a treat for him. But anyway, we dodged that bullet. He asked first before he drank it. Um, anyway, I wanted to bring it over and show you that what I did was I had made a little ditch, and I actually poured the slurry on there and then covered it up. And I wanted to do it as an experiment to see if a week later, in this case 8 days later, if we could even find anything, or if the worms were still hanging out here, because I find them totally throughout. Even if I do a feeding, like in one section, I very seldom find the worms just there, like a big worm ball. But let's give it a shot. So I have my trusty little fork, and I'm going to, I didn't bury this very deep. It was maybe, I don't know, you saw me, maybe an inch or so. You see somebody there? Try to keep the camera on you. I bought a tripod, and I was using it for a while, and it cracked the glass on my phone. So I wasn't very happy with that, because I'm a very low-tech person. Even having a phone, I think, is sometimes not necessary. I like to live in my own quiet little world. Well, I do see some worms, little heads or tails as I'm going along here. Oh, see, there they are. But I'm not seeing. Okay, all right, I think I'm back to about where I was. And now what I want to do is actually kind of reach into where it would have been. And just, I'm feeling worms, but I'm not feeling huge amounts of worms. I see one or two. This actually does feel, well, I take it back. Oh, there they are. What do you know? It's a mini worm ball. Hello, little guys. Let's see, do we have them all along here? A few. Not like the other spot, but there we go. Oops. Wow, he's a wiggler. He's a jumper. The great wigglinies. That's nice. As I've told you many times before, I only started out with a few. that I left in here. And I would guess I have hundreds and hundreds of them. And all I put in there, I think I put in a little bit of cornmeal on top. Let's see, there's another. So it's like it's a long, skinny worm ball that's about 3 feet long. And I see cocoons also. Wow. Let's see, we see anybody else? Nice, nice, very nice. Hello, dude. Oops. Let's see if we see anything else here, over like here. This soil is lovely though, isn't it? Imagine if I put this out in my garden. That's what kind of I'm hoping to do, and that's how I treat this, is that I, you know, like I'll take a handful here and I'll make sure that there's no worms in it or cocoons. We'll get that guy out right away. And then I use this in with my potting soil to enrich it. But today I'm having so much fun going through it handful at a time. More cocoons. This is my sweet potato vine that was from a piece of sweet potato that I just left in here. So anyway, that's our answer, isn't it? Is that it does actually work. They really do. They do like their worm mother to, or worm father, whichever you may be, to make them treats. Down at the end here. That feels more like a worm ball too, doesn't it? Not a whole lot. At least the cornmeal has been taken up. Before, I was finding that all I was getting was, it was clumping. So I think that answers our question. Is it, whoops, there they are. Oh, I think that's that same guy who's the acrobat. All right, so today, because I really don't want to have, I want to eventually be able to use this. I think I'm going to, oops, I just felt another little lump. Yep, there was another one. Okay guys, spread out. Isn't that what the Three Stooges used to say? Spread out. I'm giving you my age, aren't I? Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to take some more of the, I don't have a slurry for them, so I'm just going to take this cornmeal and sprinkle it, because I can pick out fat worms better than I can pick out skinny worms if I have to separate them. And then I'm going to use some eggshell, because not only is the eggshell good as grit for them, but it's good for adding a little calcium to my soil. And then good old coffee grounds, which we drink quite a bit of coffee, but I always wish I had a better source for it. All right, there's that. And then we're just going to pull this over again. And wasn't this the simplest thing? I made to have a planter here. It's keeping the worms happy. Now, many of you may wonder, well, see, now there's a piece of sweet potato that they didn't eat. I think it's too hard for them, but it has a root on it. And so I might just replant that and see if they ever get to it. Okay, made it all smooth again, made it nice. And for those of you who might have worried about my worms, when we just had a 38-degree night, I want to assure you that these little guys all came and lived in the living room for a couple nights, and even when it got to be 52 and they can survive in 50, my husband said, oh, just let them stay here another night, it won't hurt anything. So I think he's getting on board with having worms after only 13 years. But real quick, I wanted to show you something that I think I showed you the last time, is that I'm starting marigolds, and I did this with some other marigolds that I have already up-potted. But this is an African, and these will be the real tall ones that are about 3 feet. But look for the surprise underneath. It amazes me how these worms just love sitting underneath something. It's a hard surface. You know, we think they like being covered, but I think they really like that security of being in something heavy and hard on top of them. Kind of like they're now selling these security blankets that are, like a 10-pound weight, and it stays on you and you feel very calm. This is my other one that I have tomato seeds that I laid on here. And do you see any? I just see a few tails, but I don't see a massive amount. Yep, I guess they've all disappeared. But I wanted to see if I could germinate some tomato seeds on here. So anyway, I've held you for a long time. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and that you'll try this if you have an extra pot or a planter or something, that you could get some worms, give them a great place to live. You'll keep it just a little bit damper than you would for a normal plant that might not like things quite as wet as the worms do. And so instead of feeding my plants, I'm actually feeding my soil, which is coaxing the worms to not only thrive but multiply. So I hope everyone has a great day, and that you would like to subscribe and ring the bell and come back and see me again soon. Remember, garden what you've got. Take care. Bye-bye.